My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack by Scientology. So it appears that there's more space in the universe than humans can see. There are extra dimensions. They reside within the particle itself. It looks like inward expansion. We have biology in these extra dimensions. We have extra dimensional biology. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife, and while we're among the living, to process energy and to function properly. Uh, the Asians call it their chi or chakras. You can actually feel your extra dimensional tissue biology functioning while you're among the living. We use it while we are alive. And it also serves as a vehicle in which we can have an afterlife in, an extra dimensional biology that we can live on in. And Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before we die. They remove it from themselves, and they use technology and techniques to turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle, a biology in which they can move around in. They can drive through the upper dimensions while they are among the living. This technology that they use allows them to do several things. First, it allows them to access the upper dimensions, create their upper dimensional biology. Second, it allows them to create surrogates, so they can drive organisms in any dimension: humans, animals, insects, worms. Get away from me and my family. Third, it allows them to create a hive mind. So they interface technology with their brain tissue and their central nervous system. And then this links them to a computer system. From there, they can interact with each other in a digital landscape. They can communicate with each other and interact with each other. There's also, I'm getting threatened. They said they can't wait till they make me a surrogate. They're going to try to drive me. They're going to try to kill me and take control of this biology. They covet my Native American DNA. I'll explain this in a second. So there is an aspect of reality that they are hacking. It is an entanglement property between our third dimension and our inverse. So our inverse is literally the energy within the particles in which we consist of. It is our inside of the particles. If you remove energy, which is a body part, from our particles, the universe doesn't like this. If you could truly remove the energy, the particle would be destroyed. So the universe compensates. Space time compensates. It actually warps around us to keep this particle there, to keep the energy within the particle. No matter how far away it goes from us, it still acts as if it is still connected to us. I call this displacement theory. So they utilize this aspect of reality to practice Scientology, and it's part of their hive mind technology. So they like to remove brain tissue from people, and they put it in a pod or on a shelf in a storage system and install it into a storage system in which links them to a computer. This allows them to access the upper dimensions, even drive other organisms. Yes, this is part of their hive mind tech. Okay, and lastly, this technology that they use artificially stimulates neural tissue. They can isolate individual memories or thought patterns and stimulate this area of our brain. And plus, it elevates neurochemistry. They send energy or electricity through their neurons, and it stimulates a neurochemical metabolism, which means it elevates neurochemistry. It elevates neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and even oxytocin. It has a narcotic-like effect upon the users. These people are extremely criminal. They like to do things like invade people's homes, invade their privacy, steal body parts from people in an attempt to control them or exploit them. They like to kidnap people and force assimilation. People with influence, power, or authority get kidnapped by these people and forced to assimilate. So these people can control the subject's behavior. So they can use this person's authority or power or influence to suit their own purposes. They exploit people. Yes, they like to steal body parts. I'll get into that in a minute. So biological theft is rampant among them. They like to make surrogates out of the people and plants or animals and insects. So they take surrogates, which means they kill the person and drive this organism themselves. And they do this with humans all the time. Yes, they're trying to make me a surrogate. I'm experiencing extreme cognitive difficulty. They're doing body mods against my will. They have stolen a lot of biology from me. So they home invasion of businesses, destruction of private property. They like to destroy the inverse side of our property. They like to contaminate food and water sources with parasites and chemicals, contaminants. They like to sabotage people and make them sick, destroy people's lives, especially people that they are in conflict with, or if they want something from you. So these people are petty, or they'll try to get you in trouble. They like to try to get people in trouble. It suits their purposes, it suits their agenda. This is your body part psychology. So they use weapons of mass destruction, biological warfare. They like to uh, poison people with parasites and microbes and viruses because they can drive these organisms through us and use them as a weapon. They like to use their upper dimensions as a lookout, can break and enter into homes and businesses. Rape and torture is rampant among these people, and murder. They like to hurt people, rape and torture. So these people are conditioned to do body parts. Scientology is literally the act of removing biology from an organism. They are conditioned to do this. And they do this 24/7 nonstop. These people don't live normal lives. They don't go to work every day or interact with society. They sit in front of their computers at military bases and DARPA and other places and never interact with society in any way. They have no idea what it means to live like a normal human or have normal human experiences. So they're conditioned to do body parts. That's all they do. They do this for a living. On top of that, they are very criminal. Plus, they are elevating neurochemistry. It is having a narcotic like effect upon these people. This has created extremely negative psychological issues and bad behavior within these people. They are psychotic and delusional, jealous, petty, greedy, extremely irritable, violent. They have addictive tendencies. They do the same thing over and over again. They dwell on ideas, especially when it comes to hurting other people. Yes, they think they are above the law. No one polices the upper dimensions. They let these people do whatever they want to do. So these people steal other people's biology. They steal other people's body parts. Either they force assimilation and put their brain tissue inside of their computer system, or they steal their body parts for transplant purposes, or they make surrogates out of people. Please get away from me. Yes, they're doing illegal body. They say they're trying to turn me into a surrogate. They said they're going to make my animals a surrogate too. So I used to be a political activist on media, on Facebook. I was very political, or participated in politics a lot. Please get away from me. Oh boy, you don't know what you're fixing to go through. The doctor himself. This is a girl from MPB that is trying to turn me into a surrogate. Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Okay, baby. She's one of Barack Obama's people in the Fed. Yes, this is me saying these things. I am who I have always been. I'm not a surrogate. I'm not being driven in any way. I still have the part of my brain that lets me control myself intact. And all of my neurons and my memories, they are all still intact. These people want to control my memories and brain tissue in an attempt to gain my intelligence or publish my intellectual property. So this started 13 years ago. I was a political activist on Facebook. I participated in politics a lot. I had a large following. We persuaded elections and lawmaking and policy and discussed environmental issues. I'm also a literary genius. I wrote a lot. Please get away from me. Says you're about to lose yourself. Breaking the law. Get your hands off of me. So I inspired a lot of people, gave a lot of people ideas, especially in literature. A lot of people wrote books based on the things that I have said and done. So then someone decided to force me to assimilate. They forced me to practice Scientology, which involves removing brain pieces and putting them into a storage system and installing technology. Says they removed a lot of biology from me. They removed biology. Starting out, they tried to control me, tell me what to do, where to go, how to do my job. It's turned into what I can eat, how I can drink. That's what these people do to people. They try to take over a person's life. This is Scientology exploiting people. Then it got hostile. I started screaming at these people, "Get away from me, stop." They became very irritable and hostile with me. They started to harass me. Then it became apparent that the public was invading my privacy. Radio companies, media companies, marketing companies, internet companies, social media, tech companies, big business, the government, politicians, the FBI, the CIA, the military. Then I became very ill, and the people of the world started harassing me on a daily basis, especially radio DJs. 98.5, Wizard 106, Mississippi Public Broadcasting, NPR, and the marketing companies, the people that control what we see on television, and the people that write the commercials. Even night show hosts and actors started communicating with me. Then I became very ill. I started to feel things stuck inside of me, in my ear, my brain, and my neck, and I swelled up real bad. My face deformed. I started going to the hospital, getting x-rays done, getting scans done. They couldn't see anything, but I could feel it there. And my whole face deformed. They were foreign objects. So then these people started to steal my intellectual property. I write in my spare time for fun. They started stealing the things that I was working on and my studies and my ideas to use for their own literature. And then as time went on, the communication grew worse and worse. People around me were acting very strange. They afflicted my family, my friends, my coworkers, my neighbors, my neighborhood, my community. Anybody that was affiliated with me in any way got forced to assimilate by these people. They forced my people to practice Scientology. We were all going crazy. Everybody was acting stupid, trying to get everybody else in trouble. They're trying to hurt each other, and me included. Sabotage. It fits in with their narrative. They're trying to cause something bad to happen so they can somehow justify their criminal behavior towards us. Yes, they're trying to make me a surrogate or something. So then they installed more hive mind technology. So I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote Divine Currency. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Alien Bob, Bug Bob, and several others. They started to install more technology in my brain. I started to see things and hear things. Yes, first I seen big humans in the inverse in outer space. Then I seen aliens and Anunnakis and lizard people and insectoids, bug people, worm people, and worm surrogates, and little humans running around. That's the worm god. Yes, all these people were communicating with me. These are Scientologists. Scientologists remove their extra dimensions and turn it into an alien form. Either it's a lizard person, or an insectoid, or an alien form, or a worm person, or all of the above. They chop their body parts to pieces because of the entanglement property. Yes, they did my family members too. My dad is a surrogate. Now he has a big skull and bones tattoo. But on the other side, he has eagle feathers and a tree of life tattoo, which falls in line with my literature. And he has no idea about my literature. I don't discuss that with him. Yes, he has a big skull and bones tattoo. And these people claim to be affiliated with Skull and Bones and the Freemasons. Someone just said I'm under military directive to put you down. Well, that is an illegal activity, and I have a right to defend myself, both in the court of law and with self defense if necessary. Get out of my home. I'm very sick. So then they started stealing biology, my extra dimensional body part. They kept taking more and more and more. And every time I would write or teach them something or use my brain in any way, which they were attracted to, they're attracted to my thought processes because it's extremely valuable. People that write literature and write books, they create something of value. And these people got to witness me creating and writing. Yes, they invaded my mind space. So they started selling seats to my mind space, let other Scientologists witness my psychology. So they let other people invade my mind space for a fee. They've made all kinds of money off of this. Now they plan on stealing my intellectual property. And they stole my inverse biology. They stole my extra dimensions, especially brain tissue, and tried to use it as a transplant for themselves. They literally took brain tissue out of my head and stuck it in their own head in an attempt to gain my intelligence, my ability to create and write literature. I'm getting threatened again. And now it's turned into a snuff film. These people want to torture me to death and call it some kind of martyrdom story because my intellectual property is a plan to save the planet. I have a little superhero story. I'm Crazy Bird. So I wrote Crazy Bird into a superhero story. And I wrote the Environment Creation Agency, Divine Currency or Buffalo Dollars. That was created. I am part Native American. I am designed. It is in my genetics to try to fix the environment. My ancestors literally created environments that were good for life in on this planet. They helped life around them flourish because it is in our best interest to help all the organisms around us reach their optimal potential, to be healthy and have good behavior. And everyone was happy and healthy. We were evolving. My ancestors evolved extremely well. They had highly evolved sensory perception organs and natural intelligence and philosophy. And they could see the world around them in a very fine detail and understand how the environment was affecting them and the other organisms around them. They were stewards of their ecosystem. They were life giving people. They gave life to the planet. One of them just said, who, we got them. So they're trying to come up with some false narrative in which says I've done something wrong to try to justify their criminal behavior towards me. Yes, they are Scientologists. So these people are conditioned to do body parts. It is all they do is remove body parts from people. That one just said he's DARPA. You're breaking the law. Then DARPA is breaking the law. You can't harass someone in their own home. You can't make people hear voices. One of them's the CDC. The other one's MPB. She's NASA or Navy. So these people are conditioned to do body parts. They literally remove their extra dimensions from themselves and modify it and turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. Yes, they are creating the aliens. They are conditioned to do this. They do this in private. They do not interact with the world the same way normal people do. It is a private institution. They don't get out much. They sit in uh, their buildings, their compounds, and mess with people's body part. They drive their upper dimensions around. Yes, some of these people are out in their environments, especially their constituents. So these people are conditioned to do body parts. They mess with their extra dimensions. They even mess with their thirds. They modify biology. And this is what happens. So they remove their extra dimensions from themselves. And every 3 dimensions, they cut themselves. So they wind up with 3 upper dimensional biologies, which they can modify and drive around. These biologies, once they are cut, they can't survive anymore. They lose something. They lose organ tissue and nerves and blood vessels. They lose the connection to their third dimension, which keeps them alive. So they have to use transplants from other organisms to try to make themselves whole again so they can survive in outer space. This is where the aliens come from, the lizard people and the bug people and the worm people come from in the alien forms. So they steal biologies from other humans and other organisms and use it for transplants to keep themselves functioning and alive. Plus, they are using artificial stimulation to replace the biochemical electricity in which we produce in the third dimension to allow ourselves to function. So they covet other people's body parts. They and their technology that they use allows them to access other people's neurology. It allows them to use another person's brain tissue as their own. These people had nothing to do with my intellectual content, my ability to write. I've been doing it since I was a young kid. I learned how to read and write in school. It was a requirement that we read books and wrote short stories in grade school. And I fell in love with it. It was something that I loved to do. And I got A pluses on everything that I did. And my teacher said that I had a natural ability to write. So I continued to write my entire life. And I enriched myself and I studied. I like to study science and the arts. It is something I do for fun. I love literature. I love to read and write. Yes, I write a lot. It's something I've done on my own without their help. They have done nothing but assault, torture, rape, molest, murder. They sabotaged my life, me and everyone around me. Yes, they tried to work on me or something after the fact. So that's what they do when you don't jihad in the hive. They torture you to death and make a statement so you don't mess with Scientology. You can't afflict someone and get away with it. My dad is a surrogate. My dad is extremely abusive. He screams at the top of his lungs every day. He's gotten better as time went on, but it used to be horrible. He kept us so stressed out and sick, and it gave me strokes. He abused our entire family, our entire lives. He said, all you gotta do is make these videos. Now they think they're going to get away with it because nobody can hear what they're doing, what they're saying to me, or see what they're doing. It's in the upper dimensions. Nobody polices the upper dimensions. People have no authority that they have to answer to, and they never answer for their crimes. If these people kill somebody, the world considers it a natural uh, calamity or natural uh, disaster, natural cause. These people don't have rights, not in their upper dimensions. I have rights. So this is remote control, surveillance, and assault, and body snatching. Please leave my animals alone. So they done something to my frontal lobe in the upper dimensions. I still had inverse left. It was allowing me to continue to function. They removed it the other day. Now they put something else on me, and it's got a screen that I'm not controlling. They probably modified it heavily. They covet my body parts. I am special. I have Lakota DNA and other Native American genetics. Plus, I have a very broad spectrum of European DNA: British, German, Irish, Scottish, Dutch, French, and the list goes on. I have no idea how much, but I know I have those. So they covet my biology and my genetics because my ability to use them, and they've read my mind as I've done psychology. So psychology is like a superpower if you get into it really well. It allows you to control how your brain files information and your ability to articulate and control that information. And it allows you to do things like access multiple memories at the same time once you get good at it. And they see this and they're like, whoa, it's a superpower. It's actually just good psychology. Yes, they've seen me analyzing my memories and my thought patterns one after another, looking at my brain functioning. They don't do this. They're just on a straight path. They never think about what they think about, and they never try to control what they think about. They are impulse driven only, very reactive. They are stuck on this idea that they're going to martyr me, torture me to death. They're going to turn me into a surrogate and say, kill me, and turn me into a surrogate and say, look, he is risen. Some Christianity fantasy. But here's the most important part about this event. Our third dimension see time differently than it really is. We see the days passing one after another. It's a linear event. Time is actually a simultaneous event. The past, the present, and the future happen at the same time. So the beginning of the universe and the end of the universe happen simultaneously at the same time. Our inverse or our heavenly bodies, once we pass away, we see time as it truly is, as a simultaneous event. We get to see the entire universe play out when we die at the same time. It's part of our afterlife experience. Scientology has hacked their biologies to access the upper dimensions before they pass away. They get an upper dimensional biology while they are still among the living, and they can see time as a simultaneous event, and they can interact with it in this way. So Scientology has created a criminal enterprise. They are extremely criminal against humanity, especially the military industrial complex and the police forces. They are abusing these these powers that they gain from the extra dimensions to try to hurt people, especially Americans. They are hurting their own people, and then they are profiting from it. And then the civilians are doing the same thing. They are utilizing this technology to try to make money off of the public. And they are forcing people with influence, power, or authority to assimilate with them so they can be under their control, so they can control these people's authority, the subject's authority. So they have created, or ancient humans had knowledge of what we are, of our afterlife. They knew about, most of them knew about the afterlife, especially anywhere you see a temple or a pyramid. These people had knowledge of what comes next, of the afterlife. It's written in stone. So we see this in the Middle East, in Egypt, and in Americas and other places in the world. Something happened a few thousand years ago. False religions came onto the scene, especially Christianity, and they started conquering all the peoples and destroying our ancient knowledge. And they're taking over the world with a cross and a flag. And we have lost knowledge of the afterlife, of reality. And it's my observations that this is Scientologists' fault. They are trying to cover up their damage to the universe and to life on this planet, especially our afterlife. Because humans ain't getting none no more. We are sick and I mean, we are sick and dysfunctional now because of our extra dimensions being under assault by these people. And now they're going to come up with this story that, oh, the aliens are eating us, but they're not. Scientologist is stealing other people's body parts and or removing body parts so people can no longer gain access to heaven. These people are severely afraid that someone is going to come up here and put an end to their criminal behavior towards mankind and life on this planet. They don't let people access the upper dimensions anymore. Yes, it's the Navy and Skull and Bones, rich people, people like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and other people. Yes, and this has just happened within the last 60 years. So Christianity was created within the last 60 years. So are the temples. So are the pyramids. They don't want people up here. They want to keep control for themselves and cover up their criminal behavior. So yeah, these people at this very moment are assimilating me 13 years ago. That's why they were so mean and hostile towards me from the get-go. Because this was happening 13 years ago. And then they are driving my father in the hospital as he names me Christopher. That's not supposed to be my name. I'm supposed to be Robert Wayne Weathers. And my father wanted to add Christopher into my name. My mother objected and there was conflict. But then it happened. So my name turns out to be Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. So these people can call me Saint Christopher and turn this into a martyrdom story and sell this uh, murder to the public as a Christianity story. And it is nothing more than a Native American getting exploited by Scientology. Natives are inherently trying to save the world. Yeah, nothing.